With less than 3 weeks to go till the election, many Americans are eager to learn about the candidates. So it is imperative that our information channels are open and Americans can access stories by the press and from their own social circles. Congress believed in this power of information so much they created special liability protections for information platforms, such as technology companies like Facebook, Twitter, and Google. It is called Section 230. And I have believed in the principles outlined in the law. But it is clear that Section 230 in its current form is no longer working. Just last week, Justice Clarence Thomas said the courts have read sweeping new protections into 230 that Congress never put into statute. It is time to scrap the law and start over. Yesterday, the New York Post, one of the country's largest newspapers, published a piece on Hunter Biden and his work on the board of Ukrainian energy company Burisma, which he had no qualifications for. It is an important story, as most Americans would be appalled by the vice president's son using his father's position to earn an enormous contract from foreign companies. But the response from many in the media and Twitter and Facebook bring to light an even bigger concern. The biggest social networks are selectively censoring information. If you are a citizen and posted information in the story, your account was locked. Last night, the Republican House Judiciary Committee posted the story on their website, a government website, and this morning, Twitter has censored it. Did big tech censor the media and Americans when they posted about the unverified and later debunked Steele dossier? Did big tech censor the media and Americans when they posted about Trump's taxes, which were, of course, obtained illegally? Did big tech censor the world's largest sponsor of terrorism, the supreme leader of Iran? The answer to all three questions is no. If social media companies intend to use the protections provided by Congress for some Americans but not for others, we should remove those special standards altogether. Now, Ranking Member Jim Jordan and the House Judiciary Committee have legislation that should be voted on to restore free expression in Americans' town squares. Republicans are clear on what we need to do to serve the American public. Republicans are part of our commitment to America, have been clear how we would restore our way of life, rebuild the economy, and renew the American dream. Chief among our goals is keeping small businesses open and the employees on payroll. I know what it's like to have a dream. I know what it's like to have a dream to have a small business. In fact, we have been relentless in our push to get Speaker Pelosi to provide needed relief for Americans. She continues to turn her back and focus on politics, not people. 81 days ago, when Speaker Pelosi was asked if the House will stay in session until a deal is negotiated, she answered, "We can't go home without it." A few days later, she sent us home for the August recess with no deal. Republicans have attempted to bring up Small Business Committee Ranking Member Steve Chabot's legislation to reopen Paycheck Protection, to support small businesses and their employees. But Democrats have blocked any PPP money going forward 39 times. That's 39 times we brought it to the floor that they have voted no on it. Speaker Pelosi does not want to lift a finger to help the American people because she believes in her own words, and let me quote, that nothing is better than something, and negotiations are all about leverage. It is clear she has offered resistance instead of relief, and she has wasted precious time this year. Eating ice cream in front of a refrigerator, blaming a salon owner for her special treatment, and now insulting Wolf Blitzer. These are not actions of a functioning Democratic majority. With that, I'll take any questions. Yes, sir.
The president keeps talking about that he would like to see Congress go big or go home on a COVID relief bill. I think the administration's offer is somewhere around $1.8 trillion right now. He's talked about going even higher than that. Would House Republicans support a $1.8 trillion or bigger deal if that's reached between the Speaker and the White House?
You know, what's most interesting here is the president, 1.8 is a very big deal. A large, that's a big deal. But unfortunately, Nancy Pelosi still makes us go home instead of getting something done. I think the American people would want anything to have to go forward. Republicans have time and again pushed forward ideas forward. Unfortunately, the Speaker controls the House. So the answer to your question, it doesn't matter what our answer would be because the Speaker has denied anything for moving. Even her own.
Encourage your members to vote for a $1.8 trillion or
You know, I'd always read a bill before I encourage anybody to vote for anything. But what's interesting to me is her own members, the Democrats, have asked her to take this deal. She is the only hurdle, the only roadblock to us even being able to vote on something. We have a discharge petition that would remove PPP money that's sitting there, $137 billion. She has forced her members not to sign. There is one stumbling block to any deal getting through. It doesn't matter the size. The Speaker of the House is the only one that's denying it. Yes.
Do you have any, do you believe that there will be a COVID relief deal? I know we keep asking this question, but will there be a COVID relief deal for the American people before the election?
As long as Speaker Pelosi's involved, I think the answer is easily no. You've watched her every single time we've tried to have COVID relief, she's always held the process up. Now she's strangling the American public by denying anything moving. You watched even her arguing with Wolf Blitzer because he wanted to read quotes from her own members asking her to take the deal. I think she cares more about politics than she cares about the American public. It's obvious with her actions. Remember why she said she doesn't want to go forward. She is fearful that the American public would get a check, fearful that the president would get some credit instead of helping the American public in this time of need. Yes?
I just have a quick question regarding COVID-19. If a deal is approved upon and a bill goes to the Senate and your members have to come back, what is your plan to keep your members and their staff safe from the coronavirus?
Well, that's a great question. You'll know about 4 or 5 months ago, I put a report out along with Rodney Davis and Tom Cole on how we could keep the House safe. One of that elements was testing. Unfortunately, Speaker Pelosi has denied that. The protections on which committees we'd bring back, the size of staff in which we'd bring back. Unfortunately, Speaker Pelosi has denied all the abilities where we worked with a lot of the medical community to come with a plan to keep the House safe. One of those would be testing.